You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5.
They will attack someone's pet, and they will eat it.
A neighborhood on Anna Maria Island concerned this morning after coyotes have been spotted. We'll tell you what to do to keep your family safe.
And happening today, nurses across the Suncoast are planning to picket, coming together at several hospitals to stand up together. We'll tell you why.
And developing overnight, Stormy Daniels arrested last night. Why? She's saying this was a setup. Good Morning Suncoast starts right now. Good morning, early risers. It is 5 o'clock, Thursday, July 12th. I'm Ray Collins.
And I'm Stephanie Webb. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. I saw a little bit of lightning, but not too much out there in the way. What does the rest of the day look like, John Scalzi? A little drier today?
You know, pretty similar to yesterday, I think. Maybe a little bit drier. We had a little trough low pressure that kind of worked its way through southern Florida yesterday, enhancing rainfall chances a little bit. So today, we won't have as much influence from that little bit of low pressure. But we still have the moisture, we still have the heating, we still have the sea breezes, so all of those things combining still promise us a chance of showers later on. Yeah, we're seeing some thunderstorm activity out here in Gulf waters. Cloud cover, it's kind of at a minimum over land, though, and we'll have plenty of sunshine to greet you as the dawn breaks. There are the showers. They continue to press away from shore, just as they have over the last 3 days. Not much difference there. They are pretty numerous across the Gulf waters, and there are lots of lightning pops, but locally everything is pretty quiet. Skyway Bridge looks good. As far as the forecast for today goes, about a 30% chance of showers. Probably around 3 o'clock, we'll start to see them build. By around 7 o'clock, everything winds down. We'll have the weekend forecast for you coming up in a few.
All right, talk to you then. Thank you, John. 301 northbound, some congestion there as you approach downtown Bradenton. Otherwise, pretty clear so far in Manatee County. Checking farther south now, the northern half of Sarasota County. Not too much so far. A little blip there at the 41 bend as it goes toward the Bayfront. Otherwise, Clark Road, some congestion in the eastbound lanes. And then farther south, we'll check that map and see mostly clear, a little congestion southbound 41 as you go from Nokomis through Venice.
Well, this morning, nurses across the Suncoast will be out in full force protesting and picketing at several hospitals today.
Marla Spence has a preview from Doctors Hospital. Marla?
Hey, good morning, guys. In just 1 hour, nurses across the Suncoast will be picketing at 6 local hospitals, including Doctors Hospital here on Cattleman Road. Now, I spoke to 2 nurses from Blake Hospital yesterday. Both nurses have been working at Blake for more than 15 years. They both say nurses, a part of the nurses union, plan to picket because of changes that they want to see. They say they want patient care to be better. They want better staffing and improvements to recruitment and retention. Both nurses explained to me retention is one of the bigger issues that they want to see improve. They tell me 55.8% of Blake Hospital nurses have less than 3 years experience at the hospital, which is considered to be a huge turnover.
Mostly because the nurses leave, and they leave because of issues. Staffing, you know, there's a lot of times that we have compliance grids for staffing in our hospital, and a lot of times they're not met. And particularly new nurses, you know, when they come out of school and they get a job where their staffing is not good, they just don't stay.
And both nurses explained to me that they will be picketing low pay as well. They say Blake Hospital is below the national average pay for nurses. Today, the picket will begin from at 6 o'clock this morning and wrap up at 8 o'clock. In addition to being at Doctors Hospital, they will be at Blake Hospital and hospitals across Orlando, Tampa, and also St. Petersburg. Reporting live in Sarasota, I'm Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Marla. President Trump is leaving Belgium for London in about 2 hours, but some of his remarks yesterday at the NATO summit caused extreme reactions. ABC's Molly Hunter has the story.
In Brussels this morning, it's day 2 President Trump arriving at NATO headquarters after a bizarre first day at the summit, capped off by this rather bizarre performance Wednesday night. Confusing as the world leaders attempted another family photo. The First Lady right there by her husband's side, President Trump greeting France's First Lady and smiling with French President Emmanuel Macron just hours after blasting America's European allies. President Trump accused Germany of being held captive by Russia.
Germany, as far as I'm concerned, is captive to Russia.
Later, trying to make nice.
We have a very, very good relationship with the Chancellor.
But German Chancellor Angela Merkel just reaffirmed her commitment to the alliance. French President Emmanuel Macron did the same. And British Prime Minister Theresa May did the same.
NATO is as vital to us today as it ever has been.
President Trump flies to London tonight, and across the UK, anti-Trump protests are planned. London is gearing up for the biggest protests in years, and activists even made this Trump baby balloon, which will fly over the city tomorrow. That's right, and when he comes to London, authorities are planning for huge numbers tomorrow, but the highlight tomorrow might be his meeting with the Queen at Windsor Castle. Molly Hunter, ABC News, London.
Well, another twist this morning in the Stormy Daniels saga. The former porn star was arrested last night while performing at an adult club in Columbus, Ohio. Her lawyer, Michael Avenatti, tweeted that Daniels was busted for allegedly allowing a customer to touch her while she was on stage in a non-sexual manner. Now, the state actually has a Puritan law that prevents any touching between a customer and performer in strip clubs. But Avenatti is calling it a, quote, setup that was politically motivated, he says. Daniels, who is suing President Trump over an alleged affair and the hush money agreement between the two, is expected to fight those charges.
Look at this, caught on camera. 30-foot flames burst through a grocery store last night. The fire began in a back room and caused the building to collapse. Luckily, nobody was injured in the fire. A cause is still under investigation, but there's a possibility a lightning strike is to blame.
The CEO of Puerto Rico's bankrupt power company suddenly resigned yesterday. The governor there announced the departure of Walter Higgins, who was just appointed back in March. Puerto Rico's Electric Power Authority is close to $9 billion in debt and has seen a big turnover in leadership in the past few months. Higgins reportedly had to step down for personal reasons. Now, FEMA says Puerto Rico has faced the longest lasting power outage in modern U.S. history in the wake of Hurricane Maria, which wiped out the power grid back in September. Still faces an immense challenge in rebuilding that grid that was never even built to withstand a Category 4 or 5 hurricane. Well, veterans, advocates, patients, and others gathered to protest and encourage Governor Rick Scott to reverse his decision to repeal several cases involving medical marijuana. Activist Gary Stein says he feels the decision to repeal those cases is the state's way of prolonging full access to those in need of medical marijuana. Now, he says the medication helps veterans with PTSD as well as patients that are fighting cancer.
The whole point of the amendment in 2016 was to give people access to this life-saving medicine. And those statutes that were written by the legislature basically restricted that access. Without access to these medicines, the people we're talking about are going to die.
Now, the amendment to legalize medical marijuana was voted into effect back in 2016. Similar rallies were held in Orlando and West Palm Beach.
On Anna Maria Island, coyotes are causing concern near the northern end of the island. Here's a picture of one of the coyotes spotted in a neighborhood near 82nd Street and Marina Drive. And here's another one. They've been seen in that area several times the past few days. The most recent one spotted by a neighbor right in the middle of the street right there. Wildlife experts say it's rare for coyotes to be in this area, but because of development throughout the area, they think it most likely is pushing them to locations like Anna Maria Island.
A coyote will attack a domestic dog or a cat. They will attack someone's pet, and they will eat it.
There are some small children in the neighborhood, and just about all of our neighbors have dogs or cats, and so we're concerned that they would potentially do that, as well as chickens, and one of my neighbors has a peacock.
If you do encounter a coyote, experts say you should scream loudly, and that should scare them away, and also never feed a coyote as well.
All right, take a look at your screen right now. Northport police are looking for this woman right here. They say she walked off with a canopy tent, left the store, hopped on a bicycle, and hasn't been seen since. You're asked to contact Northport police if you recognize her or if you have any information.
Much different search in Sarasota. Police looking for a killer on the North Trail. They say they went to check on an injured person inside a home, but they found a woman in her 40s dead. They're calling it a suspected homicide. It happened in the 900 block of 42nd Street. This is near the Sarasota Mini Mart.
Really to be able to tell how long she was deceased inside the home. However, like I said, we received a call to assist Sarasota County Fire with an injured person, and when we arrived, we found her deceased.
No suspects at this time, and the investigation resumes this morning.
And check this out. 2 alligators were found dead in a Bradenton pond. They've been harvested for meat, reportedly. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office says they aren't sure just how those gators died just yet, but their carcasses were found yesterday in a pond at Fountain Lakes Condos in Bradenton. Now, if you know anything, you're asked to contact the Manatee County Sheriff's Office or Crime Stoppers.
Croatia fans celebrated on the streets after their soccer team's historic win over England in the semifinals. They'll now advance to the finals. Final score was 2-1. It's a high score in soccer.
Yeah, it is.
Croatia will play France on Sunday for the championship.
And happening today, Ben Carson is going to be making a stop here in Sarasota. The HUD secretary and former presidential candidate is going to be stopping here to take part in a book giveaway and signing for kids in subsidized housing. Now, Carson also plans on visiting the Sarasota Housing Authority Early Childhood Learning Center as well.
Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, new developments for that lava flow in Hawaii, the homes it's destroyed so far.
And coming up a little later in the hour, we've got another only in Florida story for you. Wait till you hear this one. It involves a Minion costume and a prank gone wrong. We're going to have that story for you in just a few minutes. But first,
here's a peek outside our window on this Thursday morning, 5:11 a.m. right now. And John's got the rain box checked this morning.
I do, but it's not for the commute to work. It'll be for the commute home from work. And really, a lot of the showers that will be occurring at that time will be in the process of decay. So I'll check it just so you know. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to be a big problem for especially you early commuters home. Tonight, temperatures will be in the upper 80s, just a few late storms around, mild and humid for most of the day. And none of the airport hubs serving the airport, Sarasota, Bradenton, are running with any delays, according to the FAA. Good news there, early travelers. Complete forecast coming up in a few.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
I'm Deshauna Barber. In 2016, I was proud to win the title of Miss USA. What makes me just as proud is my service in the U.S. military. In the service, a soldier gains skills and learns values like discipline and leadership. That makes them an asset to any business that hires them. If you're an employer, on behalf of Coalition to Salute America's Heroes, remember to hire smart and bet on a vet. Visit saluteheroes.org or call this number to learn more.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. No one should face breast cancer alone. When I was diagnosed 36 years ago, there was no internet, and I had to make a decision with little information. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org/hope.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So this is the second day in a row that we hit the trifecta. 74 degrees air temperature, 74 degree dew point, and it feels like temperature of 74. Doesn't happen very often. So it's pretty quiet out there. We have some fair weather skies. We have some cloud cover and some lightning pops going on out in Gulf waters. None of that going to bother us here on land. We do, however, have 100% relative humidity, and it feels kind of sticky out there. No reports of any kind of fog issues in our neck of the woods, but certainly the humidity is high. Condensation on your windshield this morning as you drive to work. You'll probably notice some of that. You may have to hit those intermittents once or twice to kind of clear the windshields off. 78 degrees, the air temperature by around 7 o'clock this morning, 90 as we head into noon. Yesterday we topped it out at 93. Probably do about the same today. We'll call it 92. 30% chance of showers starting up around 3 p.m. And then as we head into the 7 o'clock hour, I think the last few remaining showers will be kind of drifting closer to the coastline and falling apart. The storm motion today, again, like yesterday, is going to be somewhat erratic. It's going to be tough to actually predict whether it'll be inland or near the coast. My guess is it starts in inland areas along the sea breeze, and then from that point it could go in almost any direction because of the light steering winds that are around. We're kind of in a transition between the general easterly wind that we had at the beginning of the week and a westerly wind that we're going to have as we head into the weekend. Quiet right now across the peninsula, mostly out in Gulf waters and Atlantic waters. We do have ongoing showers there in the warmer waters. And we have had some pops of lightning just offshore in the last 2 hours. Pretty frequent lightning, actually. It's kind of a nice little light show out there. But locally, things, no issues on your roadways. Don't really have any wet roadways either, so things look pretty good in that regard. We have a high-pressure ridge sitting over the deep south. We have a high-pressure ridge sitting over the Mexican and Texas coastlines, and we have a high-pressure ridge sitting in the plains. So the combination of all those three pretty much ensure that we are shielded against any large-scale weather systems approaching us. We'll have light and variable winds as we don't have any particular isolated high-pressure ridge dominating. So all of that means that the storm motions today will be slow and they'll be variable. Locally, we'll watch eventually the high-pressure ridge that's back to the west build, and as it does that, I think we'll develop a more westerly wind for a few days. That'll probably be on Saturday and Sunday and on into Monday particularly. And the little trough of low pressure that we had yesterday in the southern tip of the state will continue to press away from us, moving toward the western sections of Cuba. So our showers today are going to be heat-induced sea breeze storms. And they will pop up, and after that, the outflow from them, the downdraft air, the rain showers, will cause other showers to pop up here and there across the region. So that'll be the case today. We'll watch for those to begin probably around 3 o'clock or so. Mostly sunny, slow-moving storms. That'll be a key, too. So they could produce actually a fair amount of downpours, a fair amount of rainfall. And then we'll wait for that pattern shift next week as our winds sort of shift just a little bit. So for boating today, southwest wind coming in at about 10 knots, becoming light in the evening at about 5 knots. And the forecast calls for 92 today, 30% chance of showers, kind of erratic in motion. Tomorrow, 92, again, kind of light and variable winds causing somewhat erratic motion of the storms. As we head into the weekend, I think we'll see more storms on Saturday that produce a kind of showery activity near the coastline, and then the storms move inland during the afternoon. A little bit of drier air perhaps on Sunday, reducing rain chances just a bit. And then as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday, about a 50% chance of storms will do it. Back to you.
All right, thank you much, John. Let's check a look outside and check your first alert traffic. So far in Manatee, those roads are actually looking really good around this time in the morning. No slowdowns or delays to report. If you're heading into Sarasota in the top half of the county, those roads are also looking pretty decent. No real delays there either. If you're heading a little bit farther south, 75, 41, both of those roads are running pretty good. You do see a little bit of a slowdown on there, 41 southbound toward Venice, but that is about it for your traffic. It is 5:19.
Developing out of Hawaii, we're learning now that lava is entering the ocean. In new video, officials believe a nearby charter school is now gone. The lava had been close to the campus for some time. The official count for destroyed homes remains at 700, but the actual number could be much higher. The latest concern there is about acid rain going in the drinking water.
Oh, God. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast. Do you ever get motion sickness when you're on your phone in the car as a passenger? Well, we're going to tell you about some new glasses that one company has invented that maybe could help.
And new video released from inside that cave of one of the most daring rescues ever. How the 12 kids and the coach are doing this morning. Here's a peek at the White House, Pennsylvania Avenue.
Shh, it's very quiet. Everyone's still sleeping.
Everyone's still in Brussels.
No one's home out there this morning.
President Trump is waking up in Brussels and going to London in about 2 hours. D.C. will have a high of 86 degrees right today. You're watching Good Morning Suncoast from ABC 7.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator, there was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
Everything all right?
Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery? Sure. We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Ever since I can remember, I've been intrigued by industrial design and the optimization.
Wait, that's passion? Ever since I can remember, my passion has been industrial design. We need 3D printers for Miss Adams' engineering program so that we are ready to solve 21st century challenges.
Impressive. Think It Up is a new initiative to support student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classroom today? Think It Up.
My name is Stephen Jaffe. The law firm's name is Farmer Jaffe. One of the beautiful things about Julius is he's always smiling, and it becomes infectious. The fact that Julius has a disability has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work that he's done. Just a great person you want on your staff.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 78.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
Well, this morning, another one for our Only in Florida file. Here's surveillance video out of Daytona Beach where police have arrested a man for, wait for it, body slamming a partially blind man that was wearing a Minion costume from the movie Despicables. Now, the victim was outside. He was just promoting a store, which is why he was wearing the costume in the first place. Police arrested and charged this guy right here, Ryan Neihart, with battery and criminal mischief. Now, Neihart says the whole thing was just a prank. He was going to post on his social media accounts, and he did post something, but it happened to be an apology.
Oh, my gosh, what a story. You heard that guy in that costume.
Body slammed a guy that was partially blind in a Minion costume. Yeah.
Only in Florida.
Uber scaling back their team working on those self-driving cars and new glasses that could help with motion sickness.
The stories in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, Uber eliminating jobs for its self-driving fleet.
The ride-sharing company has laid off all of its backup drivers. Most of the 100 or so are in Pittsburgh, the rest in San Francisco. Uber has not been testing self-driving vehicles since a fatal crash 2 months ago. The first ever official pro Fortnite tournament starts on Saturday.
It'll run for the next 8 weeks. Organizers say during that time there will be $8 million in prize money. The first competition is invite only, but others will be open to people who qualify. If you get car sick while looking at your phone or tablet, these glasses might help.
The frames contain liquid that trick your eyes and inner ears into thinking that they're synced up with each other. The French company that designed them says the glasses will eliminate motion sickness within 10 minutes. They cost about $115.
And those are your Tech Bites.
Tech Bites, sponsored by Lyrica.
To most people, I look like most people. But on the inside, I feel chronic, widespread pain. Fibromyalgia may be invisible to others, but my pain is real.
Fibromyalgia is thought to be caused by overactive nerves. Lyrica is believed to calm these nerves.
I'm glad my doctor prescribed Lyrica.
For some, Lyrica delivers effective relief from fibromyalgia pain and improves function. Lyrica may cause serious allergic reactions, suicidal thoughts, or actions. Tell your doctor right away if you have these, new or worse depression, unusual changes in mood or behavior, swelling, trouble breathing, rash, hives, blisters, muscle pain with fever, tired feeling, or blurry vision. Common side effects: dizziness, sleepiness, weight gain, swelling of hands, legs, and feet. Don't drink alcohol while taking Lyrica. Don't drive or use machinery until you know how Lyrica affects you. Those who've had a drug or alcohol problem may be more likely to misuse Lyrica.
With less pain, I can do more.
Ask your doctor about Lyrica. If you're eligible, you could pay as little as $25 a month.
Judy here, I think hospice was a tremendous source of support for her.
Absolutely. With Jennifer and Kimberly and Liza's constant contact with us, coming in, just knowing that there was someone with knowledge there to back us up, to answer our questions, it made a world of difference.
You now have the power to prioritize your Facebook feed and get local news and information from the team you trust. Go to the ABC7 Sarasota page on Facebook. Give us a like, then click following and choose See First. That's it. Customize even more by choosing notifications. Choose breaking news, posts, live videos, anything you want to see in real time. Take control of your newsfeed and stay connected to what's happening in your community with ABC7 on Facebook.
Once you get atrial fibrillation, you need to have a very close relationship with your primary doctor. Prevention is the whole ball game here, because once you have a stroke, you can't undo it. A year without stroke, it's a year that you can enjoy doing the things that you've worked all your life to finally get to do. You took care of yourself. You did what is necessary for you to be around one more year. And then next year, we'll celebrate one more year without a stroke.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. You're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Go, okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
I am the resident district manager on the FAU campus for Chartwell. Whenever I see Haley, I do not see a person with a disability. I see a person with extraordinary abilities. Haley is always smiling. She's always on time. She gives fantastic customer service and is always focused on any job that she's given.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Selfless service is the principle that guides Army National Guard soldiers to be ready whenever disaster strikes. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times. Selfless service. It's what inspires the men and women of the Army National Guard to be part of something greater than themselves. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more.
You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5:30.
A developing story from the southern border. Thousands of asylum seekers are being turned away without ever going before a judge. We're going to tell you just why it's happening.
And happening today, nurses across the Suncoast joining forces will tell you the issues they hope to get resolved.
And augmented reality is coming to a Facebook page near you. We're going to tell you just how it will all work. We have those stories plus your first alert forecast right now on Good Morning Suncoast. And good morning to you on this Thursday morning, Friday Eve, as our director loves to hear us say. I'm Stephanie Webb.
I'm Ray Collins. John Scalzi is tracking some showers in the Gulf right now.
Yeah, we got our own augmented reality out there in Gulf waters this morning. Well, maybe it's not augmented. Maybe it's just reality. We have some showers out there producing some thunderstorms. They're moving away from the coastline, and it's not a threat to your morning commute. In fact, they're kind of circling the entire peninsula out there in the warmer waters, relatively warmer waters. And the reason for that is the amount of moisture that's available across the entire peninsula and in our local waters as well to produce showers and thunderstorms again today, all part of really the moisture that was associated with what was left over with Beryl. Kind of moved through our area and helped to enhance our rainfall chances. You can see that kind of blast of cloud cover coming up from the south. That is that moisture, and it will, again today, provide us with a decent chance of some showers. Not as much as we normally would see at this time of year, and winds will be light and variable, so the storms will be very slow moving and kind of erratic, so if you're under some of them, could get a lot of rainfall. But the rain chance does stand at 30%, mostly at around 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll have the complete forecast coming up in a few.
Thank you, John. Checking the roads, 301 northbound. Some buildup in the northbound lane as you head toward downtown Bradenton. Also 14th Street West southbound as you cross over Elkhorn Parkway there, not too far from Whitfield. And checking our next map to the south, we'll find out in the northern half of Sarasota County. Nothing really in the red right now. Some congestion by the 41-301 split. Also Bee Ridge Road westbound around McIntosh. And then our final map to the south will show a little buildup there, 41 southbound as you go from Nokomis down into Venice.
Well, this morning, nurses across the Suncoast are joining forces to protest and picket at several hospitals today.
Our Marla Spence has a preview from Doctors Hospital. Marla?
Good morning, Ray and Stephanie. In just 30 minutes, nurses are expected to walk out of Doctors Hospital with signs picketing issues that they say are impacting the local and national nursing industry. Now, some of those issues include patient care, staffing, pay, recruitment, and retention. We spoke to two nurses who plan to picket today. They have been working with Blake Hospital in Bradenton for more than 15 years. Both nurses tell me 55.8% of Blake Hospital nurses have less than 3 years at the hospital, which is considered to be a huge turnover. I'm told the high turnover is due to nurses leaving because of staffing issues. Nurses picketing today hope today's picket will allow hospitals to focus more on retention and recruitment. They say by doing so, it'll help improve patient care.
The hospital has the means to provide this, to focus on recruitment and retention for the nurses. They're getting a huge tax break, as many corporations are. We want to make sure we focus that on patient care with retaining the nurses that we have.
And those nurses across the Suncoast will be picketing at Doctors Hospital behind me, Blake Hospital in Bradenton, and also hospitals in St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Orlando. I'm Marla Spence reporting in Sarasota for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, thank you so much, Marla. Well, there are some new guidelines today from the U.S. Immigration and Customs Department, and they're taking place at the southern border. It could mean thousands of asylum seekers are being turned away without ever going before a judge. Andrew Spencer explains.
Newly reunited with his 3-year-old son, Honduran migrant Josue Rodriguez now has to convince a judge that his life is in danger if he goes back home. Like many others, he's seeking asylum in the United States. But immigrants fleeing their homes under certain threats of violence may no longer get the chance to plead their cases in court. The Department of Homeland Security gave new guidance on Wednesday to officers who interview asylum seekers. They're being told fears of gang violence or domestic violence no longer qualify for asylum, and that those claims should be rejected immediately. Rodriguez says he was turned away at an official border crossing 4 times before resorting to crossing the border illegally, something that under the new guidelines could be weighed against his claim for asylum. Friday, attorneys from the ACLU and the Department of Justice will be back in court. There, the judge will check the status of any children under 5 who have not yet been reunited with their parents. And the court still needs to address how many thousands of older children still need to be reunited by the judge's next deadline, July 26th. I'm Andrew Spencer, reporting.
A couple living in this country illegally for years has been detained while visiting relatives at an Army base in upstate New York. The Brooklyn-based husband and wife admit they aren't citizens, but say they have visited several military bases in the past. It happened over 4th of July weekend at Fort Drum. Concepcion and Margarito Silva were arrested after military officials reported them to immigration officials right there at Fort Drum. Their daughter says the family is heartbroken.
My family and I are devastated by what happened to my parents. My parents are both ill and in need of a lot of medical attention. All I ask today is for my parents to be freed immediately.
A GoFundMe page has been set up for the couple. In just 4 days, it has raised over $10,000.
As a court-ordered deadline is passed Tuesday night to reunite 102 migrant children with their parents, only 38 of those reunions have happened. Now, one mother and her 17-year-old daughter have been separated since June 3rd when they entered Texas seeking asylum. The mother was released on bond Monday, pending her asylum hearing later on this month. Then on Wednesday, she was brought to the facility that was holding her daughter. She says it took almost 8 hours of paperwork, questioning, and fingerprinting before she was able to finally see her daughter.
One of America's oldest World War II veterans met with Governor Scott this week. 99-year-old Sidney Walton flew into Tallahassee to raise awareness of the decreasing number of World War II vets. Walton and his son will meet with governors across the country on his national No Regrets tour. Governor Scott was his 12th meeting.
When you were growing up in New York City, you had a chance to meet Civil War veterans, remember?
Oh, yes. And I missed that.
You did?
Oh.
And you've regretted that ever since, haven't you?
Absolutely.
And that's why you don't want anyone else to live with that regret. So you're going out there, putting yourself out, allowing anyone that wants to meet you, a World War II vet.
And that was his son. Walton will be ending the tour in Washington, D.C. on February 11th, his 100th birthday. Pulling bags through airports is usually part of the traveling experience, but KLM Royal Dutch Airlines is working to change that. The air carrier is testing out an airport robot that can carry up to 85 pounds of luggage for you.
Ooh,
the robot,
I need that.
You like that already?
Yep.
The robot is named Carry. Get it?
Oh, yeah.
It'll look like a self-driving trolley. The robot can access real-time data like gate changes. The airline plans to put it to use at both New York's JFK and the San Francisco airport sometime later this year.
Well, Facebook is going high-tech with its advertising. Social media giant's going to begin testing augmented reality ads in your newsfeed. Sephora, Michael Kors, Wayfair, and Pottery Barn, they're all going to be among the companies using the new interactive advertising. You can kind of see how they're using it right here. Now, augmented reality, or AR, was used in the super popular app Pokemon Go back in 2016 that I was gently addicted to. So here is how this one works. The new AR ads will allow allow you, like this lady right here, to try out digital versions of some of the products using your smartphone camera. Now, augmented reality is something that Facebook has been investing in a lot lately. They believe it's going to be kind of the next step in how people will interact with their computers and in their smartphones.
A date for the annual underwater cleanup has been set in Venice around the pier area. The Suncoast Reef Rovers annual event is Sunday, July 29th. Organizers still need divers, snorkelers, kayakers, and other helpers on the surface. Sharkies will also provide a buffet lunch for everyone involved in that cleanup. Should be a good time later on this month. 5:39 right now, still ahead. The rescue in Thailand might be over, but the recovery process has just begun. What doctors are saying about the conditions of that soccer team and when their parents will finally get a chance to hug their kids.
And here's a live look right now. Ooh, beautiful as always, a shot of Capitol Hill. Plenty going on there this week as well, but most of the big wigs are off at the NATO summit this week.
There is a Supreme Court nominee making the rounds there.
Yes.
Week. They'll see a high of 86 degrees in D.C. today. As for the local situation, here's our local expert on duty, John Sculsey.
Well, that restoration of the Capitol really did a great job, didn't it? It's beautiful. So we're looking at some temperatures across the region that are generally in the mid-70s, upper 70s. It looks pretty nice as you head out the door. We still need the rainfall, despite the fact that some places yesterday got tons of rain under these slow-moving storms. We do have an expanding area of moderate risk for fire danger, and in the Panhandle, it's even a higher risk, so a little bit of rain wouldn't hurt. Our air quality index is good today, coming in at about 46 rather, and that puts it solidly in the good range. The major contributor to that is ozone. We'll have the complete forecast for you coming up in a few.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at nationalguard.com.
My name is Luke Perry, and I am 1 million strong. I'm in the fight against colorectal cancer because I believe we can win it. Colon and rectal cancers are the second leading cause of cancer deaths among men and women in the U.S. Colon cancer is preventable. Know the risk factors and make sure to get screened. There are simple, take-home options available. Take control of your health. Screening for colon cancer isn't embarrassing. It can be life-saving. To find out more about your options, visit fightcrc.org.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffy Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
The ABC7 First Alert weather app just got even better. It's easy to use once you download it. First, tell the app to follow you, so you get alerts pinpointed to exactly where you are. Then customize your settings with all the places you go, from the beach to grandmother's house. Get accurate alerts for everyone you care about. You can even pick which weather alerts and categories you want and what they sound like. More ways to customize and more ways to keep your family safe. Download the ABC7 First Alert weather app today.
Meet Blue. Blue's not feeling well. The prescription? Generic medication. Blue wonders, do they really work as well as name brands? Yes, generics and name brand medications do work the same. Even though they may look different, generics have the same key ingredients. FDA approval is equally rigorous for generics to make sure they're as safe and effective as name brands. And Blue even saves some green, making him a little less, well, blue. Talk to your doctor about generics and visit fda.gov/generic drugs.
Now, your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Kind of thick outside right now, 100% relative humidity. We have a dew point down there, a temperature and a feels like temperature that are all the same, 74. And consequently, we have 100% relative humidity. Temperature dew point match brings you 100% relative humidity. East-southeast wind comes in at about 3, and today I think we'll have a good chance at seeing some of those slow-moving storms. Once again today, they could drop a lot of rainfall if you happen to be under one of them, because they're just not going to go anywhere. By 7 o'clock, 78 degrees. By 12 noon, it'll be warm up near 90, already approaching the 100-degree feels-like temperature. And then as we head into the afternoon, that's when we'll start to see those thunderstorms begin to build along our sea breeze front that'll develop and move inland. They'll first start along that sea breeze front in inland areas, and then where they go from there is kind of anyone's guess. We'll have very light and variable winds, so that the outflow from those thunderstorms, as the rain falls and the winds expand outward, those winds will trigger off showers and thunderstorms basically all over the place. So I think that the chances by 3, 4, 5 o'clock for coastal residents as well as inland residents to receive some rain is probably pretty equal. We have pretty quiet conditions for your morning commute. For your drive home, you might see a few scattered showers around. You can't rule that one out. Timing might be a little bit earlier in the day, so perhaps if you have a late commute, you might escape those showers. We have thunderstorms and showers out in Gulf and Atlantic waters, but nothing over land right now. Kind of frequent pops of lightning for this time of morning. To see that much thunderstorm activity, a very good indication of just how unstable the atmosphere is, all that moisture that's in the air. The closest shower is located about 40 miles offshore right now. High pressure areas are dotting the landscape, kind of removing cloud cover over most of the eastern 2/3 of the United States this morning. And that is the reason the winds are going to be so light and variable. With this high pressure ridge sitting right here, it's the Bermuda High kind of beginning to build again after our 2 tropical systems, which are, by the way, continuing to move away and decrease in intensity. We'll watch our winds kind of become light, but eventually a high-pressure ridge in the Gulf, I think, will win out and bring us a westerly wind for a time. Yesterday, we had a trough of low pressure. That is now going to be moving on, and so consequently, its effect on us will be reduced. Today, mostly sunny, slow-moving afternoon storms. And then that pattern shift next week as that Gulf high builds and we develop a westerly wind. Now, here's the most moisture available for rainfall in the atmosphere, mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. Here, redder is wetter. And of course, the wetter the air, if you will, the better the chances of rainfall. Now, watch in particular this little dry patch of air, kind of left over from Chris. As we head into the weekend and high pressure builds in the Atlantic, some of that dry air might be forced a little bit further to the south and closer to our area as we head into Sunday. So of the 2 weekend days, I think probably Sunday might be the slightly drier. We're looking at a southwest wind at about 5 to 10 knots this afternoon. Beautiful out on the water, smooth conditions. We'll look for 92 as a daytime high today. Tomorrow, probably about the same and a 30% chance of showers. As we head into the weekend, we'll up the rain chance just a little bit, then reduce it again on Sunday as that drier air moves in. And then as we head into next work week, I think pretty safe to say a 50% chance of showers should just about do it for a lot of the time. That's pretty standard for this time of year. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, John. Let's take a look outside and check out some of your first alert traffic. Starting to see 301. A couple of delays on that as you're going in and out of Bradenton, but that's pretty normal for around this time in the morning. Other than that, not much else going on in Manatee. In Sarasota, in the top half of the county, those roads are actually running pretty smooth this morning. A little bit farther south in the area, if you're heading on south on 75 or 41, both of those are running pretty smooth this morning as well. It is 5:48. That's your first alert traffic. Well, doctors in Thailand say all 12 boys and their soccer coach involved in that dramatic cave rescue are in good mental and mostly good physical health. But they each lost an average of about 4 pounds during that ordeal. CNN's Matt Rivers has been tracking this story every step of the way, and he is outside the hospital.
For the first time, video released from inside the cave of one of the most daring rescues of all time. You can see how muddy the water is as divers disappear under the surface. Diving, swimming, and trekking miles into the cave through darkness, they reach the boys, and then the hard work begins. Loaded onto stretchers, one by one, over 3 anxious days, they're dragged across sharp, jagged floors. At times, they're pulled on top of the tubes sucking water out of the cave, part of the pumping operation that made this rescue possible in the first place. Where it's too steep, pictures show the boys hoisted through the air, a pulley system attached to a hanging stretcher. Below, rushing water makes for a swift current underfoot, illuminated by rescuer headlamps. It's all incredibly dangerous, flooded passageways, the definition of peril, heartbreakingly illustrated with the death of a former Thai Navy SEAL, Saman Kunan. He died after bringing oxygen supplies into the cave just days before the rescue began. His Navy SEAL brothers carried on their mission in his name, diving, swimming, and carrying the exhausted kids and their coach for hours until they could make it out far enough for initial medical treatment. A final picture shows the last eerily illuminated steps, heroes freeing the team from their subterranean prison.
This unity is not only with Chiang Rai or Thailand, it's a global unity. This incident was more than a life-saving mission. It's gone beyond that. It is the unity of all nationalities.
All that led to this, 12 boys and their coach, weak but healthy, recovering. Some of them seen for the first time in this video from inside the isolation ward of a Chiang Rai hospital. One flashes a peace sign, others stand and talk. Some make the sign for I love you with their hands, likely aimed at their parents on the other side of the glass. The doctors won't let them hug their kids for a few days yet, but the mere sight of them, the first time in 18 horrific days, was enough to elicit tears of joy. This improbable reunion, thanks to the bravery and the skill of the rescuers, the men who delivered the good news the whole world wanted to hear. And something worth noting.
A point worth making here is that the video from inside that cave doesn't show the points of the rescue where the divers had to bring the kids underwater, what rescuers described as the hardest part of the rescue. Now, as treacherous and dangerous as it looks in the video that we just showed you, that wasn't even the hardest part of this rescue.
An Alabama man plans to cut 50 lawns in all 50 states. So far, 29-year-old Rodney Smith Jr. has driven more than 19,000 miles and checked off 46 of 50 states. His goal is simple: mow a lawn for somebody who needs help, a veteran, the elderly, or somebody who's disabled. He got the idea last year, something he called 50 states, 50 lawns. He's also mentoring kids along the way.
During this whole 50 state, 50 lawn tour, I come across so many amazing people, and they tell me how much this service means to them, and they wish they had this service in their city, state, full time. So my goal is now to start chapters nationwide and get even more kids to join the 50-yard challenge, to get out there and make a difference.
50-yard challenge, like that. He says he plans to hit a new city almost every day and has trips planned to Alaska and Hawaii later on this month to finish off his journey. Hopefully, he's not allergic to grass.
Right. I love that idea, though. What a great example he's setting for those kids.
Wow.
Good for him.
Good for him. 5:52 right now. We'll update the day's top news headlines after this.
Our nurse, Jennifer, all we did is pick up the phone if I was having a bad day, and the next thing we know, she was here at the door. I can't believe that I would have received any greater care anywhere. From that moment on, everything changed dramatically. And I don't know what we would have done without that.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish.
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard serve to give back to their country and communities. Their part-time commitment qualifies them for an array of benefits, such as affordable health and life insurance benefits, education benefits, including tuition assistance, student loan repayment and GI Bill programs, a retirement plan based on part-time service, and VA home mortgages. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about all the benefits available in the Army National Guard.
Performing on stage takes mental and physical preparation. But one thing I never thought to prepare for was cervical cancer. 91% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. The good news is there are vaccines that can protect you or your children from cancer. I survived my cancer, but you can stop cancer before it starts. Talk to your doctor and go to thinkaboutthelink.org to learn more.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwells at Einstein's and FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry. Having a job is a big ticket for independence.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
It is 5:55, and here are some of the top stories that we've been following for you on the Suncoast today.
Sarasota police report a possible homicide on the North Trail. They found a woman's body in a home on 42nd Street.
Plus, Ben Carson is going to be in Sarasota later on today. The HUD secretary and former presidential candidate is going to be making a stop here on the Suncoast to take part in a book giveaway for kids in subsidized housing.
And a 9-year-old author will be reading to summer campers at Emma Booker Elementary School today. Rael Holmes of Bradenton wrote a series of short stories, and it's currently on sale in Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. And as you see, I had a chance to meet that family yesterday.
We did too. Like, I met her. She is so sharp and so well spoken, and this book is so well done.
Yeah.
So proud of this kid.
9-year-old.
Very cool story.
Mother taught the girl to dream big, and she did.
Jeez.
Her story and more news next hour on Good Morning Suncoast.